Skinnies from the north end down Providence try to tell me what to do. And something maybe happened to him. Maybe, like that.
Hey yo, pimp please, my steez, synth keys, Tim trees, cinema, indies, sit around, spit freeze, my industries, wow, we were listening to Christian and Paris Smith and a fisherman taught me discipline in Michigan, militiamen, feel my strength and conditioning, pissing in the ammunition, you can see it glistening, riddle him, put him back in the little bin, next to little Kim, I'm the Joker's laugh, he's a little grin, lower class, slower class, you don't wanna go and clash with me, I'm the Perseus of murderous verses, call your nurses, you're verbally worthless, fuck your 16, it sucks like Fantastic Four on the big screen, a sick team we make, you whistling to Jake, I'm pristine, I make the real cat seem fake, you a sideshow, I'm Hector Camacho, connect with the high flow, this is Boston Mass, play your part, yo.
Lemon MCs won't submit.
I'm always hitting to leave MCs guessing. You can put your whole team in against my army. Travel status, all of y'all wanna be.
That's all.
Lemon MCs won't submit.
Got to blow the spot, East Coast on lock. Travel status, all of y'all wanna be.
Listen, you pack guns, that's horseshit. The only time you see biscuits when you watching that horse flick. So stop talking that hard to the core shit. The only 9 you got's on some golf course shit. Listen, claiming that you mad street, running up on cats with a hammer like Thor ready to twat me. No. And you ain't dodging no strays or outlining cats and chalk like you drawing up plays. No, making crazy songs, how you roll with 80s cons. When the only weapons you pack are them 80s cons. Yeah, the sneakers and you comfortable in ladies' thongs. Only time you stick around for beef is if the wait is long. Be real, what you rhyme about a weapon for? The only 45 you got's from a record store. Come at us, dumb rappers. I got no time for these fake gun clappers. Word up.
Lemon MCs won't submit.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this radio show we call Kicking the Grass. My name is Walter, a.k.a. Dub Major, one of the engineers here at Royal Crown. With me, I have our awesome engineer, Mark. Mark, say something. Guys. There you go. And then tonight we have a special guest here, one of my friends from high school, an old buddy of mine, Mark Giorana. And then we also have Mike Black in the background sitting. This show is basically going to talk about our thoughts on last season's tournaments, major tournaments, some of the top summer trades, some of the manager trades that also went on this past year.
Look,
That was Ryan, Man Bites Dog, RML, if you guys don't know. Anyways, let me just start off by introducing myself and how I got into soccer and some of my favorite soccer players and soccer teams out there. I started watching soccer as a young kid. My family's originally from El Salvador. No, I do not like the El Salvadorian international team. My favorite team is Real Madrid. That's what we basically rep in our country. Either a Real Madrid fan or a Barcelona fan, and I hope you're not a Barcelona fan. And if you are, you shouldn't be watching this. Mark, who is your, how did you start watching soccer? Who was your favorite team?
I started watching soccer after I actually started playing FIFA. It was about like 5 years ago. And yeah, FIFA brought me into the world of soccer, and I've never looked back. My favorite team is Naples in Serie A, and I also root for Everton in the Premier League.
Everton's actually a really good team.
Yeah, no doubt.
Fellaini is one of my favorite players. I think he's out. I think he's leaving, if I'm not so sure. I think he might be on his way out of Everton. I don't know where he's going to go. I think Chelsea was trying to pick him up. But like I said, Chelsea's just one of those teams that just has a little bit of too much money in their pocket. But anyways, we're going to talk about, first thing we're going to talk about is Champions League finals thoughts, which was Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund, who played this last May. Borussia Dortmund eliminated Real Madrid, which is, was a big shock for everyone, especially
you,
especially me. with the first 4 goals in the first game scored by Lewandowski. I mean, I can't hate. He's an amazing player, and he destroyed our defense up and down that field. And then Bayern Munich, who destroyed anybody who they played last season. They destroyed Juventus. They destroyed Barca. So, to me, I didn't really. I wasn't a big fan of the finals, but it wasn't all German final, which was okay. I knew Bayern Munich was gonna win, especially when they announced that Mario Götze wasn't gonna even start for Borussia Dortmund. And I don't know if you knew this, Mark. Mario Götze agreed to go to Bayern 2 games before the finals.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So the last game that they played against Madrid, they were talking about him going to Bayern right after the season. So once the finals came along, he didn't even start in the finals. So at that point, I was just like, they have no chance in keeping up, which was the case. And it was kind of messed up how they did that. Even though Bayern is, the richest, one of the richest clubs in the world, definitely the richest in Germany. For them to do that before the finals was kind of messed up. But I don't care because they're not my teams. So.
Do you think he wasn't playing because they thought he wasn't going to give it his all against Bayern?
Yeah, that's one reason I would not start him, and it's just it gets to show you like the coach from Dortmund didn't want to start him because, basically he already picked his future, which was not to stay with Dortmund, it was to leave to a better squad, Bayern Munich. So to me, it was a good Champions League season, especially for Cristiano Ronaldo, who was the top scorer for Champions League season. So my hats go out to Bayern. They're a great squad, and they're gonna be even better next season with the new players that they got, and of course the new coach Pep Guardiola, who is coming back into soccer after taking a year vacation from soccer. I think he was living in New York.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. He has like 3 kids, and they're all living in New York still. Yeah, they're going to be a really good team next season, and I think they're done signing players. With the release of Mario Gomez, I think they're pretty much have their squad ready to go for next season. We're going to talk about top players from 2012 and 2013. To me, I'm just going to read off the 3 major leagues, which would be Serie A, La Liga, and Barclays Premier. Starting off in La Liga, leading scorer was Messi with 46. After him was Ronaldo with 34. And then Falcao would follow third with 28 goals that season. And, of course, if you ask me, Ronaldo was the best player in La Liga. But it doesn't show it when Messi scored about 12 more goals than Ronaldo. But Ronaldo was still the leading scorer in Champions League, which is the hardest league in the world. And if for those people out there that don't understand Champions League, it's the most competitive league in the world. I mean, better than any other league you can name, NBA, NFL. I have this argument with my friends all the time. They're big Redskins fan. They're big NFL guys. But no, Champions League, it's literally bringing clubs from all around the world and having them play versus each other, because these clubs wouldn't be able to play each other in the regular season because they're not in the same country. So the way they work is they take the top 3 squads or 4 squads from each country, depending on how well that country is rated, and they make them play versus each other in this Champions League is what they call it. And I'm pretty sure, and I don't know if you want to argue the case, Mark, I'm pretty sure that there is more money put into the Champions League final than any other final in the world besides the World Cup.
No, I mean, I'd agree on that. I don't know the actual statistics, but The Super Bowl is a pretty big event.
Yeah.
But I'd have to say that the Champions League gets definitely more viewers than the Super Bowl
Yeah.
because it's such an international sport. Football is soccer.
Everybody around the world watches Champions League finals, even if it's not the club that you're rooting for. It's nice to see some of the top squads from around the world go versus each other and see some of the best players around the world
Yeah, definitely.
go versus each other. But like I said, I mean, the Super Bowl is still pretty big, but the Champions League finals, there's a lot of money involved in these clubs. And the winner, I'm pretty sure, gets a really nice check afterwards. So, again, Bayern Munich, they won. Congratulations. Madrid's going to get it next year. Going on now to Serie A, top scorer, no surprise, would have been Cavani with 29, followed by Di Natale and El Shaarawy with 16. Di Natale scored 23 goals last season. And Mark, we were talking about it. What are your thoughts on Di Natale?
I think he's consistently one of the best footballers in the world, actually. He's very underrated.
Yep.
Udinese is a very underrated team.
Mm-hmm.
He has consistently, the last 4 or 5 years, always put up more than 20 goals. He actually won the Golden Boot in Italy, I think, twice in the last 5 years. So
He's an amazing player, and he just doesn't get the recognition that he deserves because he is,
loyal. He's
yeah,
loyal.
He's very loyal. He's not that dude that's gonna do something ridiculous on the field and get attention for it and have all eyes on him for the wrong reason. He comes in and he scores every time. Even when Italy faced Spain, what was the last?
The European Championship.
Yeah. He came in. He was a substitute. He came in, I think, the 60th minute, and he scored a goal for Italy, which put them up 1-0 versus Spain, which for me was big. And it's big for him because he's had some incredible goals over his career. But to me, that was one of his best moments because it meant so much, especially to the Italian world and to soccer, to see an underground team come in there and take lead against Spain. And
Yeah, for sure.
as we know, Spain is dominating soccer in the past 2-3 years now. Besides the loss that they had, which
Against Brazil.
against
in the
Brazil,
Confederations Cup.
yeah, that was crazy. I actually did not see that game. I came home and I looked up the score, and I was shocked. I could not believe that Brazil took a 3-0 victory over Spain. But I think it was the fans. I looked at the highlights. There was a lot of Brazilians in there. There was a lot of people rooting for Brazil,
Yeah.
and rooting against the top dog in the world, which would have been Spain. But I think Italy, coming up, especially in the next World Cup that's coming up, I think Italy, without a doubt, is definitely a contender to win the whole thing. I think they got to improve in a couple areas. And by those areas, it's mostly offensive. I think they have the best defense in the world, next to Spain, but they have incredible players. I think they have, to me, Spain has the greatest depth in the world, but Italy has a lot of good players in their squad, and a lot of those players are not considered one of the best in the world because everybody thinks La Liga or Spanish teams are now better just because, the international team is doing so good, which is true. But there is a lot of players in Serie A that, are phenomenal players, and they're still growing. Unfortunately, we're going to possibly see Cavani leave, right, Mark?
Yeah. I think that he's might be on his way out to Paris Saint-Germain at a reported 64 million euros.
64 million euros. That's ridiculous. I think Napoli was asking for a 60 million, million euro buyout to get Cavani, which was Madrid's target at first. But
Yeah.
I think PSG kind of wanted to grab Cavani before Madrid did, just to get a little bit of revenge, because Madrid got Carlos Ancelotti which was PSG's coach last season.
Yeah, it was definitely like a little bite.
Yeah. I mean, PSG. I'm pretty sure anybody that plays FIFA or plays soccer or watches soccer in the past 2 years or 3 years has seen PSG grown and get richer and richer every year. Who is their owner?
It's I think it's like it's a Middle Eastern conglomerate. It's like an investment group, and they're just filthy rich. So
It's like mostly oil,
yeah,
money, and
it's
stuff
similar
like
to Man City, but
that. Man City, as we all know, they had, I think it was 2 years ago when they had the big buyout where they bought so many players from so many different countries.
200 million euros, I believe. It
Yeah,
was like.
200 million
that was their
euros
shopping
spent.
spree.
Yeah, that's a pretty big shopping cap for them. And they ended up getting players like Nasri, David Silva. I mean, they had everybody. They also had who's the Italian? Tevez,
Dzeko.
Dzeko. I mean, they had a lot of people, and they now just got Jesus Navas, which is one of Spaniard's best players.
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
very, very young, very, very fast player. And I think that gets to show you because Man City, after they fired their previous coach, they wanted somebody that was fast, up pace with the ball. And they were thinking about getting Di Maria from Madrid. I don't think that's going to happen anymore with the pickup that they did of Jesus Navas. I think Jesus Navas is a growing player. He has a lot of talent, and he's extremely fast with the ball. So it's nice for him to go to one of Europe's top squads out there. But, to me, Manchester City still has a lot of growing to do. They have a new coach this season, Pellegrini, who came from Malaga, which Malaga to me was one of the best squads in the UEFA Champions League. They had a very, very good La Liga as well, but they were mainly focused in Champions League. But yeah, it just gets to show you that, even though you have a successful season in Champions League, the opportunities are out there with bigger squads, and more money is involved, so you can get better players and hopefully gain advantages over these top European squads like Barca, Madrid, Man U, and all those squads out there. Going down to Barclays from Premier, the top scorer was Robin Van Persie with 26. Suarez came second with 23, and Bale came third with 21. Out of all those players, Mark, who would you take if you were building a squad? If you had to pick between Robert Van Persie, Suarez, and Gareth Bale?
I'd have to say Bale. He's like, I think he's 27. He's like young enough. Percy's getting old. Suarez is unreliable. You don't know what he's going to do on or off the field.
Yeah.
Bale has definitely proven himself in the last 2 years in the Premier League that he's one of the best left wings in football.
Yeah, and I mean, he was averaging. I mean, he was scoring for Tottenham every game. He was the only scoring, guy that would actually score for Tottenham. And Tottenham actually has a decent amount of good players. I mean, they have Lennon. They also have Clint Dempsey, who's one of my favorite U.S. players.
Definitely.
He's very, very talented. But, they also have Adebayor and Defoe. Defoe is also a phenomenal player from England. But, yeah, Bale, to me, has proven himself that he's the top player to look out for in the Barclays Premier this upcoming season. They were going to sell him or trade him. That was the news, the rumors that they had. And he was apparently going to go to Madrid. Barca also had an interest in him, but after Barca signed Neymar, I don't think they're gonna put up money to sign Bale. It just doesn't make any sense. Barcelona has a very, very good squad, but they're not gonna put up 65, 70 million to get Gareth Bale in there after they spent about 53 million on Neymar, who's only about 22 now, I think. He's 22 years old or 21, something like that.
I think he's a little younger.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. It's after they signed him to Barca, all they talked about was him passing his physical, and then they had like a week that they only talked about him getting his tonsils removed and going to recovery. Like, don't get me wrong, having large tonsils hurts, but it's not a big deal. I think the guy is gonna recover from it. So like, that just gets to show you how much attention Barcelona gets from all around the world. Even though one of their top players is getting tonsil removal surgery, everybody's still looking at that, still reading about it.
Do you think Neymar's worth what they paid? I mean, he's young. He has proven himself in the Brazil league, but
he is. He is an amazing player. Very, very unique. He doesn't really remind me of Ronaldinho or Ronaldo or Roberto Carlos, of course, because Roberto Carlos was like one of the best defenders ever. But he definitely has the Brazilian style. The way he plays soccer is very much like a freestyle style of him. A lot of tricks, but he can move the ball up and down the field. I actually got the chance to see him when Brazil faced USA when they came down here. I think it was FedEx Field that we went to. Yeah, it was FedEx Field. He's an amazing player. He's very, very hard to defend. He's small, but he has a leg on him, and he's definitely one of the best strikers in the world. $53 million to Barcelona is nothing. That's chump change. So they got him for a pretty good deal. I think if Real Madrid would have signed him, would have easily seen about 65 million. But
he wanted to play for Barcelona.
Yeah, he wanted to play for Barca, and I think he was motivated by some of the players that used to play in Real Madrid. But Barca and Madrid are the top two teams in Spain. Either one of those teams is a phenomenal achievement in your career. I think any kid growing up wanting to play professional soccer, that's going to be one of their top 3 squads to play for in their career. So big ups to Neymar. Hopefully he has a great season. He's going to be next to Messi, which I think Messi is going to make him a better player. And Neymar is going to make Messi an even better player than he is. I think the chemistry there is going to be very, very good because they fit the same style,
As long as Neymar kind of keeps his cool, he can't think that he's hot shit.
No, he can't, because going in there, you're going into Barcelona again. This kid is 21. I'm 22, and if I was playing for Barcelona, I would be shitting my pants. It's such a pressure to play for such a top squad like that, and literally all eyes are on you, Neymar, to perform and have the season that everybody thinks you're gonna have. And I hope him the best. To me personally, I hope he does better than Messi. Because I think he has a little bit of more of an edge than Messi, and now that he's 21, he's basically on stage to perform. Everybody's watching him now. When he was playing in Brazil with Santos, I didn't see any Santos games. I don't get them, so
I actually saw a few. I get the reruns.
Yeah, like the replays and stuff like that. Like you get a chance to see Neymar play. He, like I said, he's fantastic. Do we have any clips from Neymar? Or what clips do we have from players?
We have Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
We have Cisco.
Cisco. We'll get to Cisco, which is one of my favorite new players that Madrid picked up. Actually, we'll get to it now. Cisco was originally in Malaga last season. Malaga, again, had a great Champions League season. They made it all the way to the semifinals, where they got eliminated by Borussia Dortmund in the last 5 minutes. Malaga was up 2-0 against Dortmund, and Dortmund ended up scoring 3 goals to beat them. I think the aggregate was 4-3 or something like that. So Borussia Dortmund ended up advancing, and then they played Madrid. who they also knocked out. Cisco can play a couple different positions. He's an attacking midfielder, which I like. I saw a bunch of his games last season, and he's a young Spaniard growing. He's going to get better and better every year. I think Madrid signed him for about 27 million euros, which is not bad.
Which is a bargain, I'd say.
Yeah, because anytime you go to Madrid, Madrid is going to put the most money anybody would ever pay for you. And that's why it's such a, it's such a relief for these players that, they're playing for, good squads. But when you go to Real Madrid, they're just going to offer you tons and tons of money. And that kind of, I actually saw a documentary about how Barca fans don't like the fact that Madrid overpays their players, or so they say. But imagine if you're 22 or you're 21 and you go to Real Madrid and they offer you 55 million euros, that's a lot of pressure on you to perform at that level. You know?
mean your wages, like over the course of like a 5-year contract?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no doubt. I mean,
they're paying you to perform, and they're not going to pay you chump change that you'll get in other squads just to sit on the bench. They're going to pay you money to perform. So when your name is called, you
better be ready.
Yeah, you better be ready. And you only get one chance. I mean, it's so hard to be in a starting lineup of these top European squads, Barca, Madrid. It's so hard to be the first 11 that the coach would call up to play. So we'll see where things go from there. We'll talk about some of the summer trades, and I want to get back into one team that we're talking about. It's your team, Mark, Napoli.
okay.
They let go of Cavani, or so it's being reported.
Yeah.
I don't think that's such a good idea, because Cavani is arguably the best player in Serie A right now. He's proven himself in the past 4 or 5 years now, that he's just continuing to grow and scoring more goals than ever now. Fortunately, I hope Serie A doesn't lose such a good player to PSG. PSG has the money, that they can pay for.
They'd release him from his contract, and there's nothing Naples could do about it.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I mean, I don't think De Laurentiis wants to sell him, but there's like a lose-lose or a win-lose, because they are getting paid 63 million euros. And
Oh yeah.
I don't think he's worth it, but they boost these buyout clauses so high so that teams have to really go out of their way to sign like a great talent like Cavani.
Right. And I mean, Cavani is an amazing player, and if you've never seen Cavani, look up his highlights. Real quick, we're gonna look at Cisco, who just went to Madrid for 27 million euros. We're gonna look at some of his highlights real quick, and we're gonna come back in about a minute or two. Do we have that loaded? Nice. This is Cisco. And that was highlights from Cisco. Again, he's a new Real Madrid player. I think the biggest signing that they had this summer. With more trades to come, we're going to get to some of those trades that happen. We'll get our thoughts. But we're going to go back a little bit. We're going to talk about most improved player of the 2012 and 2013 season. And Mark, you had a player that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I do. Former Tottenham player Modric. He's very good. He's a Slovakian, I believe. And
Yep.
he was performing very well at Tottenham before he joined Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning of the season, he kind of went through a rough patch. He was still passing the ball very well. He was like the orchestrator of the offense, but he wasn't given the assists or the goals that they needed him to do. But towards the end of the season, he really turned it around, and I'd say he was probably the most improved player.
Yeah, and I think that gets to show you the pressure that these players, get when they join, top, clubs like Madrid or Barca or Man U or any top, European squad. There's a lot of pressure for you, to play at a certain level, and there's no doubt in my mind that Luka Modric can play in that level. That's the reason we bought him. That's the reason we paid over 30 mil to Tottenham for him. So I'm proud of him. I honestly thought he was on his way out when the first couple games that we started him. He wasn't playing the style that Madrid plays, which is a very fast-paced style, especially with Ronaldo and players like Di Maria and Higuain and running, the forward positions. Those are very, very three fast players. So you got to keep up with them, especially when you're playing as a attacking midfielder or just a midfielder in general. You got to have the eye and the position to make these passes to these players that are next to you or in a forward position. So congratulations to Modric. He's one most improved player. To me, there's no question about it. There's another player that I can mention, which was Suarez, but Suarez is a very, very good player, one of the best, Barclays Premier players there is right now. But Suarez was always good. He didn't really struggle. He came from a smaller club. I think it was Ajax, and he signed to Liverpool. I think this was his second year at Liverpool, and he's done phenomenal. And Liverpool has really used his goal scoring capabilities to their advantage. Steven Gerrard also had a very, very good season, better than some of the previous seasons he's had. He's getting old, but he could still show you that he could still play in the top level, especially for Liverpool. Liverpool, to me, it's one of those clubs that eventually is going to climb the ladder again and win a couple Champions League and win a couple Barclays Premier titles. Right now it's the race between Manchester City and Manchester United. That was the case, 2 seasons ago as well. But I think we're going to see a change, and hopefully we'll see a change this upcoming season. We don't know where Suarez is going. I don't know where Suarez is going. I think I hope he goes to Serie A. There was rumors that he might be joining Inter, which I doubt. I don't think Walter Mazzarri. I don't think Suarez is a player that Walter Mazzarri wants to coach. Walter Mazzarri has been known to take decent players and make them to
Superstars.
Superstars, yeah. I mean, the way he positions them, he doesn't ask, too much of them, but just enough so they can shine and make their players, their teammates better than what they actually think they are. So I'm glad Walter Mazzarri went to Inter, which is arguably one of the biggest Serie A clubs out there besides, AC and Napoli, of course.
And Juve.
And Juve. Juve, they're destroying Serie A right now. But they're still young. The only player there that's getting a little bit old is Pirlo, but Pirlo is
Buffon might
leave
in a year or two.
But Pirlo, come on. When you talk about Pirlo,
legend.
Legend. If you're starting a club and you're asking for a midfielder, who else would you want than Pirlo? You might want to have a younger guy as a backup, but as of right now, if I was playing a finals tournament game tomorrow, I will definitely pick Pirlo over any center midfielder out there, and I don't care what anybody says. He's an amazing talent, and he shows it every year that he can perform at so many different levels. And he's getting old.
He's getting better as he ages, man.
Yeah.
It's like one of the rare exceptions.
It's like Zanetti in Inter.
Yeah,
he's
for real.
he's getting better and better every year, and that guy's like 37. So a 37-year-old player, playing against these, world's best, 24, 23 player, 23 years old players, like it just gets to show you that age doesn't really matter in soccer, because as long as you understand the game, you can play the game to your advantage. We're going to talk about some of the summer trades in our rundown, from some of them that surprised me. And, Falcao, that came from Atletico Madrid, is now going to Monaco, which is a League One, actually League Two now.
Just promoted.
Yeah.
It was actually in League Two, and then I don't know their history. I was like, where's Monaco? I hadn't heard of them.
Well, apparently their owners are billionaires.
Yeah,
within the
another
billions.
big new money club.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how they go. But Falcao, to me, he's a world class talent. He was the top third scorer in La Liga last season, and I thought he was gonna go to a better squad than Atletico Madrid. And that gets to show you that some of these players that they're looking for money.
They don't want to be like
Yeah.
legends, or
Yeah.
if that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, he's already a legend for Atletico Madrid, at least, and for his international squad. But I don't think he wanted to go to the top European squads for a reason, and kind of like Eto'o did. But Eto'o actually played for the top squads in Europe. He played for Barcelona. He was teammates with Messi there, also Ronaldinho. And then he went to Inter Milan and won Champions League with Jose Mourinho. And in Serie A, they also won 2 titles there as well after he got released and went to Russia. He got a lot of money as well. But that gets to show you that, some of these players don't want to be in the center of attention. They don't want to. They rather go to a squad that's, getting better or building than go into a squad where they're expected to win everything and put their all in. So congratulations to Falcao. You got a lot of money, but you're not going to win games. Cisco, again, went to Madrid. Jesus Navas to Manchester City, which is a great pickup for them. And I actually like that, because if they did not get Jesus Navas, they were going to get Di Maria. And I like Di Maria in Real Madrid. I don't think we should let him go. Just as I don't think we should let go of Higuain.
Neither of them.
Yeah, those are 2 really good players. A surprise trade for me was David Villa going to Atletico. I don't know why. I mean, I can see why, because after David Villa snapped his leg and had to go through surgery and recovery and all that, he hasn't been the same player. He was an amazing player when he, when Spain won the World Cup 3 years ago, something like that. But he hasn't performed to his normal capabilities. I mean, he's an amazing player, but I think now he's getting a little bit slower. He doesn't position himself as he used to, and he doesn't have that leg that he used to. Still a great player, though. I think Atletico Madrid, that's their replacement for Falcao. I don't think David.
That's gonna work.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work, because Falcao to me is a much better player than David Villa. If David Villa was in his prime, that would be a good debate there. Who's better? But I don't know. Best of luck to Villa, I guess. Mario Gomez to Fiorentina, which I like, and I'm sure you like, Mark, because
definitely.
that's bringing talent to Serie A,
Big
which
names.
is and then you see a bunch of these big names in Serie A leave to either Spanish football, Germany, or or somewhere else, and they leave Serie A, which a lot of people are saying that is the worst league, which I definitely disagree with that statement. I'll make the statement, and I know you can agree with this as well, that Serie A is the toughest league in the world. There's no tougher league than Serie A.
Any match, like whether it be like a low relegation team or like a pivotal, like upper table team. I mean, every match is like a World Cup. I think Jose Mourinho actually. There's a quote of him. He was like, "My hardest experiences in coaching football was in Italy, because the defense in Italy is just unbelievable. they practice and they train every match.
The preparation going into every single match is it's unreal
Top
to
notch.
anybody like around the world. I mean, but I think to me, it's because let's say you play in the Barclays Premier League and you're like Wigan or something like that. If you're going against Manchester United, the thought behind your mind is that we're probably going to lose,
Yeah.
but let's just give it our all. But in Serie A,
They think they can
they
win.
think they can win,
And
it-
sometimes they do.
and sometimes they do, exactly. And that's why you saw with Naples when they went fairly far in the Champions League 2 seasons ago, where they got eliminated by Chelsea, but they beat a lot of good teams on the road and at their home, and nobody thought in Napoli, they were like, who's this Serie A team? They didn't give them a lot of props, but after their performance, everybody knew who Cavani and everybody knew who Napoli was. So just gets to show you that in Champions League, anything is possible. In Serie A, anything is possible. Maybe in other leagues, not anything is possible, especially for like La Liga, where pretty much, in the past, like I think 10 or 11 years, the top 2 teams were Madrid and Barca, and that's not going to change. I don't think it's going to change in the future. But in Serie A, it's always, it's always a nice mix of teams that are coming up and teams that are, getting new players and, rebuilding the whole squad.
It's like a volatile league comparative to like there was a lot of like negativity towards the Italian league because of all the match fixing that went on. And like that's bad, but it kind of gave them a bad rap where they were like somehow lower quality than the other leagues, but in reality, I mean, some of the best talents have come out of Italy in the last 5 years.
Exactly. Some of the best coaches as well
Yeah,
come out from Italy.
definitely.
I mean, around the world, there's so many Italian coaches that are winning titles and getting awards. Another big player that went to Serie A, and this is kind of like a heartbreak for me because he's such a good player, was Jose Callejon, came from Madrid. He was actually Madrid youth squad, and he came back to Madrid, had a couple good, I think he was there for 3 seasons. He was a really good player, one of my favorite youngsters that we had. But I'm glad to see that he's not, taking another big top European squad. He's going to a smaller squad, but definitely a more competitive league, which would be Serie A, compared to La Liga. So I definitely think he's going to start. I definitely think he's going to be a fit. He's a very fast-paced player. He can move up and down the court, and he has a he's a good finisher. He's positioning himself all the time. So with the release of Cavani, they now, have the ability to make up for some of those, goals there with Jose Callejon, which like I said, he had a pretty good season for Madrid, and he's very young. So to score goals for Madrid when they have, players in the bench like Kaká, Benzema, so many players, Özil, that
gotta be good.
Yeah, you got to be good. You got to be able to show that coach that you can play at this level with these, these world-class talents around you. We talked about Mario Götze going to Bayern Munich, and we also talked about Neymar going to Barca. And those are some of the trades that happened this summer. I'm sure there's more to come. Manager trades, it's only a couple that I really want to talk about. Jose Mourinho leaving Madrid, going to Chelsea, which is good. I like Mourinho. I think he's, definitely one of the best coaches in the world. I don't think he's the best anymore. I definitely, would say that maybe Pep Guardiola. There's so many coaches out there that deserve the recognition. Carlos Ancelotti, which he's been proven. He's proven himself in so many countries, and he's getting the chance now to go into a squad that's 95% ready to win Champions League. They just got to get the right motivation behind them. Jose Mourinho was kind of the dude that kind of like before the game he would shit talk his team. And shit talk his players so his players can perform so they can show him and prove to him that, they deserve a spot in that squad. And I don't think that's the best way to go about it, especially with players like Ronaldo or players like Benzema or Higuain. These are players that, world class players.
Veterans,
Yeah.
not someone you can just.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where, the issue came about with Casillas, where Casillas was being benched by Jose Mourinho. And Casillas, I mean, he's a legend. He went to Madrid when he was like 18 years old. Like,
Yeah.
he's been there his whole life.
One of the best goalies in the world.
In the world. I mean, he's won so many trophies with Spain. He's won so many La Ligas with, Real Madrid, and he's won a couple Champions League as well. And he's played with players like Ronaldo, both Ronaldos, the dude from France, which is also going to be the new assistant coach, Zidane, which is one of the best players in the world.
Former.
Yeah, and he's actually an assistant coach now for Real Madrid.
Yep.
So he's going to be on the sidelines with Carlos Ancelotti. Walter Mazzari, Mark.
My big favorite manager. He's going to Inter.
Yeah.
And I think that he can really turn Inter around. I mean, he turned Naples around.
Yeah.
Naples was struggling to even get out of the bottom quarter of the table, and then after 3 good years, he brought them up. Almost won a league twice in a row. He was
Yeah.
second place.
Yeah, and then they also went
Did well in the
Champions League. Yeah, and then it's a shame, and I hope everybody understands it's a shame that Serie A or Italy only gets three spots, where you have countries like Germany, which, don't get me wrong, Germany is a very, very good international squad as an international team. They're one of the best, but as the league, they don't compare to any other league. They're the worst league out there.
FIFA uses the points from the World Cup games and stuff, like international games, to rank the leagues on top of league plays and like going through the Champions League. So like a strong Italy team or a strong Spain team will mean that they get more points.
Mm-hmm.
So Germany, I think, won that extra slot from Italy because of how they've been doing so well in
international.
competition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, their international team is one of the best in the world. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that there's more than 2 squads in Germany that can have a real shot at winning the Champions League, which of course would be Munich and Borussia Dortmund. And those are the only 2 teams that are really competing in that league. But we'll see. Hopefully things change up there. But I definitely think that Italy deserves 4 slots in the Champions League.
France has 3. And Italy has 3, so that kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, France, yeah, come on. Like, when you talk about France, talk about PSG.
Lille.
Yeah, Lyon.
Yes,
maybe
really.
they haven't even touched the surface of, winning the Champions League in a while. They have, good games here and there, but, there's no competition, especially to Italian soccer. So I'm glad Walter Mazzari joined Inter. I hope Inter turns it around.
Zanetti heals up, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. And, hopefully they sign a couple new players because, they have talent, but it's very, very young talent. But that's where Walter Mazzari shines. He takes these young players and makes them into superstars.
Guarin is going to be sick under Mazzari.
Yeah.
Your squad is coming up.
Yeah.
I'm very happy you guys signed him. And I'm disappointed. I wish he had stayed at Naples.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that he was leaving Naples because Naples in the past 2 years have had a better season than Inter Milan.
Yeah.
They beaten Inter Milan in I think more times than Inter Milan has beat them in the past 2 years.
I think he doesn't like the spotlight. Like, Naples was starting to get the spotlight, if that makes any sense. And he's always been like this, like, quiet, like, secluded kind of guy.
Yeah.
And so he's figuring, like, let me go to Inter, make them beast,
Yeah.
and then see what's up.
And then see what's going on after that.
He's not trying to, like, hit the big shows yet.
He's an amazing coach. He deserves all the credit in the world. Very, very. He has very good tactics. I hope that it helps Inter Milan win a couple games next season. Another coach, Carlos Ancelotti, went to Madrid. Of course, that's my personal favorite.
Did you like him when he was a coach for PSG?
Yeah, I actually, when I was watching PSG, I would root for PSG because, of course, they went versus Barcelona.
Yeah.
But he plays a style that attracts me, and I hope that he brings that style into Madrid. Ibrahimovic had a fantastic season. I think he knows where to place players and how to position them.
Besides Lavezzi.
Yeah,
What he was doing with
Yeah, well, Lavezzi, at first, I was mad because Lavezzi was one of the best players in Serie A and then went to France. And, I thought it was a big mistake. And he wasn't having the season everybody thought he was. But he got on it. I mean, after, the beginning portion of the season, he started actually starting for PSG. And it was crazy because they paid, what, 34 million?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
relatively small amount, but
a small amount to that team. Yeah, 34 million to any other team is like, buying like a world star #1 player. But 34 million was the signing that they had for Lavezzi, and they sat him on the bench for the first couple months of the League One.
he was having hip flexor problems. But I think it was all like a rouge. Like, he wasn't getting along with Ancelotti or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully now that they got their new coach, which is Laurent Blanc.
Yeah.
Is their new coach, which I don't know about that because the last time I saw Laurent Blanc actually in a soccer field was with France. Had that horrible World Cup.
Yeah.
That was awful. I mean,
Didn't they like boycott him?
They boycotted him.
And a bunch of players
Yeah.
were banned for life from
yeah,
the French team.
yeah, and the president of France called Laurent Blanc and told him that it was a disappointment, and he to turn it around basically. But when the president calls you and tells you that you're fucking up, that means you are literally fucking
The whole
up.
country probably
Yeah,
hates you.
yeah, the whole country hates you. So a lot of pressure on Laurent Blanc. I think he's a good coach. I think the problem with him is that he can't manage a squad with so many stars. But when you go to PSG, that's exactly what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
So he's gonna get a second chance to prove himself to France.
definitely.
Hopefully PSG does well. I like PSG as a team, and they have a lot of good talent in that squad. But I don't know about that pickup. And Manuel Pellegrini to Man City, I think that's a good pickup for City. After they released their previous coach, what was his name again? The Italian. I forgot
he's
it.
Now,
I think I don't think
Mancini.
Mancini. Yeah, I don't think he got picked up by anybody. I don't know what's going on with him. I didn't like him.
I think he did. I'm not sure who, but
He
he was talking shit about
Yeah.
Man City after the fact. He was
Yeah.
like, I did everything I could. Like, they let me go for no reason. Like, let me back in.
Well, when you're playing for a squad like Man City, there's so much money involved that they have no problem letting you go and paying you your $30 million to get out the facilities. They're gonna
Yeah.
bring somebody else in and hopefully improve that squad. But
he did get like runner up this year. Won it last year.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
I don't really see the firing as justified, but
I think the reason why they fired him was because they haven't been successful in the past 2 Champions Leagues.
yeah,
they
they lost to Naples, and
They were so
all
awful.
thought it was
Yeah.
never gonna happen.
Exactly. And I mean, Man City is a good squad. They're young. They have really good players. But he said it himself, Mancini, after he got fired, that they're not at the level that these top European squads are at. So hopefully we'll see a change from Man City. Hopefully they can give a run for the Barclays Premier title and take it back from Man U. But hopefully we see these other teams coming up, like Arsenal. I don't know if you heard that Arsenal might be getting Higuain from Madrid. I hope not. I hope we keep Higuain, but I think they're going to make a bid pretty soon that Madrid won't be able to compete against. I mean, they can definitely compete against it, but at a point where, you have the option of getting rid of this player and grabbing somebody else, I think they're going to do that. If they let go of Higuain, I think you'll see a bid for Gareth Bale, maybe the late summer. But we'll see. Season's about to start, though. I was actually surprised the schedules came out already for La Liga. I think they start August 17th and 18th are the first games that start. So, it's just around the corner. And to me, it just felt like, soccer ended like last month,
Yeah, I mean, because of the Champions League. I
Yeah.
mean,
That gets to show you, I mean, soccer's such a big sport that it's basically all year round. There's always something to talk about with soccer. With NFL, NBA, you kind of have those months where they're dead.
Training. They're just sitting in the training camp.
Exactly. But in soccer, there's so many trades, so much money going back and forth that, there's always something to talk about. We'll leave it off with the future of Suarez. Where do you think he's going to go?
I think he's going to stay put. I mean, I know Liverpool probably thinks that he's a troublemaker, which is obvious, but
I mean, he bit a player.
yeah, I mean, Dude, I mean, I've seen some bad shit happen on the football field. Like, that's pretty bad. But, like, I mean, he's still a great player. I wouldn't like not let him play because he bit somebody. I mean, it is weird.
I mean, he did score 23 goals. He was second, leading scorer in Barclays Premier. So we'll see if Liverpool keeps, they basically have a standard way that they play. And there's a lot of respect in wearing that jersey. You know?
He's serving a 10-game ban. Like,
yeah.
I don't think it'll happen again.
I mean, this is like what his third ban that he's had so many issues in Liverpool.
I think he has problems with English people. He might be out of England, but
he might be.
I don't think he's gonna go to another team in the Premier League.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think if he leaves, he's gonna go to Serie A.
Yeah, I actually agree.
I mean, Serie A is gonna be It's gonna be a great pickup for Serie A to get a nice talent like that. But we'll see where things lead up to. Before we leave, Mark, you were telling me a story about some referee in Brazil. Tell me that one more time.
Yeah, all right. Well, this is factual. I mean, it's weird, but
I need to search this up when I get home.
This happened, I think, like a week ago, and like apparently there was like an altercation between a Brazilian player and a referee. I doubt this was like top league play. This was probably one of the like lower leagues, but essentially a player started assaulting the ref, and the ref pulled out a knife out of his like pocket and like just stabs the guy and kills him on the field. And preceding this, the fans charge down on the field and like they quarter him, meaning they like rope his like arms and legs and like pull them from his torso. So like, and then they decapitated him. So
that is crazy. That's insane.
I'm not going to the World Cup anymore. I was thinking about making the trip down, but like not after this disturbing news.
That is unbelievable. I mean, if I was a referee and I had like, probably like 500 people running towards me, I'll just shoot myself. I'll get that knife and like stick it right in my heart. I'm not gonna have these people torture me, man.
Who would have thought though? He probably thought they were just coming to jay him or something. Not Brazilians. Dog.
That's what I would have thought. I mean, I would have thought that they would have stomped this dude, and eventually some cops would have, came in and stopped it.
Yep.
But to get ropes and tear his limbs off,
dude, I know.
That's a long process. That's like Saw 7 right there, man. That's some crazy shit.
Yeah, no doubt.
But anyways, this is our first show for Kicking the Grass. I think we're gonna change the name because I don't like the name Kicking the Grass. I don't kick the grass, kick the ball. But we're basically gonna be incorporating a lot of new things. We're talking about having FIFA live, playing online, so we can have people call in. We can have like a 5-minute match, so you can get schooled real quick.
Definitely.
And we'll show you some of our highlight reels that we've had and some of the top goals that we've seen and we've scored. So we're going to incorporate a lot more stuff into this show, and hopefully we have more viewers to come. Appreciate any of you guys that are tuned in right now. We'll be having this show hopefully every Wednesday, same time, 5, right before the Man Bites Dog show. And by the way, speaking of Man Bites Dog, shout-outs to them. Shout-outs to the new VP, Rock Marciano, the new signing, as well as AG the Corner. There's a lot of talent in Man Bites Dog. I've been with the label now for about a year now. I've met a lot of people. Became really, really good friends with a lot of people in the label too. So respects to them. I think they're one of the only independent labels out there that's really representing hip hop for what it is. And I guess to show you with the roster that they have, it's a lot of underground, but a lot of dope hip hop, which is not sold out hip hop. Is what you hear now on the radio.
It's real.
It's real music. It comes from the heart instead of coming from what you hear on the radio, what people want to hear. And there's, music there's a time for everything. But with Man Bites Dog, it gets to show you that we can still be successful in doing what we, mainly started doing it for, which is, to represent hip hop for what it is. But that's it for today's show. We're going to come back next week at 5. Hopefully we'll have another guest. Mark, maybe you'll be here.
Cool.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next week. We'll talk about more things to do about soccer. Hopefully we have a couple news dropping in this week about the future of Suarez, Gareth Bale, and some of the bigger players out there in the trading run. So thank you for tuning in. Till next week.
Peace.
An outlaw dressed in black with a tumbleweeds and dust blow. Cutthroats cut blow and men of steel rush slow. UFOs float in the desert like smoke. Mothership microchips get injected in my throat. All off the books, taxes implemented by the fascists. Got me lighting books and matches, burning cities down to ashes. Cause I ain't one for starving, they don't realize what they start. And I be carving Satan stars into their daughter for a carton of some cancer sticks. Steel Masonic manuscripts, study lies and camera tricks. Shooting till the hammer clicks, used to dance the hammer shit. Now I can barely handle shit. Writing with a candle lit in concentration camps I sit. Where we burning dollar bills cause the heat's more valuable. And whoever got the water and guns is the most powerful. They huff